Well then, we're getting close. Just 3 more episodes to go. It's like, you'd be surprised how fast a month can go by when you finish multiple episodes. Heck, even finishing up the year with. I mean, for Pete's sake, we're on the week of Christmas, as you can tell by my sweater here, but also if you look at your calendars right now, it is starting to come close to the week of Christmas. And if you're watching this after the holiday, then you're a bit late on that. But I might as well get out of the way before I talk about today's episode. Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, happy holidays. Or if you're from Cinemassacre and have a problem with happy holidays, then happy shut the hell up. Well, anywho, with all the greetings out of the way, let's talk about this week's episode. Episode 9, Dream On. Why is it called that? We won't know until the end of the episode. Like we always do. Like the season 6 finale, Time Takes a Cigarette, is a reference to the David Bowie song. Which, rest in peace, Bowie. Anywho, following last week's episodes, which follows like the hallucination Ray had at the end of the episode, where he starts tripping off in Times Square, sees himself as a police officer, sees multiple people as his wife, winds up choking an officer, and then winds up being monitored over for a couple of days. So, it's from here that we actually see the flashbacks from the finale. Like, everyone knows the whole ordeal that happened. Ray winds up hallucinating, seeing his wife, and Ray follows her to the top of the roof. Ray walks around, seeing her, kisses her one last time, or the ghost of her, I should say, and then all of a sudden, Ray jumps off and tries to commit suicide. So, after that lovely dream, I'm gonna have that in my head from now on, he winds up waking up, still in the mental hospital, must I mind you, as he wakes up to see a psychiatrist, Dr. Ammott. Was it Amoit? Like, it's spelled Ammott, A-M-O-I-T, but should I even call him Amont? Oh, well, let's call him Amote for now. He winds up seeing the doctor, talk to him about his breakout, what happened. At this point, Ray is in complete denial of any of that because, well, he wants to try and keep all of that under wraps. Like, no one should know about his past and how he jumped off the bridge and committed suicide. Doesn't want anyone else, not even Bridget, to know that. Which, at this point, it leads Ray to have to get Bridget in, because with his limitations in the hospital, he's only allowed to get family members in. And Bridge is the closest he has. Of course, Bridge, while she's visiting Ray, tries to figure out what Ray was doing during that whole ordeal. But it's from there that he just can't say it in front of his daughter. It's too much for him to bear, and he's just like, I want you to get in contact with a person I've been staying with for a while I was in New York, and one of my personal friends, which being Lena. Because, why Lena? Why not? And so, basically, Bridget winds up calling Mac, and Mac finds his stuff out and has to, like, get Ray's help once more. And what happens afterwards, because this is Ray Donovan and we got other character storylines to talk to about this, is Ray, or at least Mac, winds up going into the bar and seeing his other workers, talking about how there's something more to this than they expect. And this is basically their point where they have to figure out what to do. Which we don't know what that is until some time later. So, afterwards, basically, Mick decides to go to Terry and try to talk to him about why on where Ray is with his money. Because, again, he's in that get-rich-quick scheme. Try and get out of the country, you know? But from there, what we see is Ray being set loose. Like Bridge and Mac and whoever else is there, Lena, basically get Ray out of the psychiatric ward, and basically the doctor, let's just say the psychiatrist, let's call him that, the psychiatrist basically tells him, he has doubts about letting Ray loose, especially seeing as how, you know. Won't say any more about that. But let's call it the situation. Basically, while outside of Terry's apartment, Mick sees the poster for a Royal Rumble-style Eliminator competition. The underground fight club that Terry was fighting at, you know? Basically, Mick decides to take advantage of this, and again, it's part of his get-rich-quick scheme. So from there, it's basically him out and about just doing whatever he can to get money. And this Eliminator is his combatant of getting that money. Yeah, I wonder how long that will last. But yeah, Bridge winds up seeing Ray outside, tries to get him to talk about what happened. Why did he freak out in Times Square? But it's basically Lena that tells him about his situation, his suicide. That basically this gets Bridge questioning his condition. Almost thinking the same way as the psychiatrist, whom is doubtful about letting Ray loose out in the world. Trying to be the fixer that he is, but also having part of his life be one hell of an experience, one that he just can't get out of. That's basically what the psychiatrist worries himself about with him. But just before Ray leaves, basically the doctor leaves him his calling card. And we'll see what happens there. Another thing, Mac is being tells Ray about the whole ordeal going on, and basically Ray decides to basically visit the mayor and talk about the whole deal, try and talk about this IA guy that they've been after, and Ray at this point won't reveal the name because, well, he still considers them his enemies, just trying to do whatever he can to try and survive in the dog-eat-dog world that it is. But to solve all this issue as he leaves the area, Ray gets in contact with Emerson, whom we've seen before in previous episodes, basically winds up asking for help for some certain situations that may help him out in the end. Other than that, basically the other one with the other Donovan is that Bridget tells Smitty about the whole ordeal with Ray, but thinks that they should try and move on. Because they do wind up saying that basically Smitty found a home in Pennsylvania, and they may consider moving there. Just a way that Smitty can well, I'm leaving the show. I just keep going for that cliche. But anyways, as Ray winds up visiting Emerson, basically an idea is Emerson tells him about a guy that is a big troublemaker, a big judge that has done a lot of these bad deeds, and basically tells Ray about this, which may be perfect information that he can use to his advantage to tell the mayor about it. But another thing happens. He must wear something, like, something to record him. I forget what the name of the damn thing is, but basically he winds up having to put the recorder somewhere where the people that pat him down won't see it. I'm not going to say which area, but basically he's got to take a little recorder and stick it up there while Emerson listens. But also his surveillance friend from a few episodes ago. And it's from there that basically that both Terry, Mickey, and their new combatant to fill for Terry, Bunchy, basically fills in for Terry because of his condition. And this leaves, Mick and whatnot to try and cheat the first round. But are they going to survive the other rounds? We don't know. But just as the episode's about to end, Ray winds up visiting the mayor, uses the advice Emerson gave to him, all the information. The mayor sort of falls for it, but it turns out that Randall waits outside, realizes what just happened, because he knew about about the recording being stuck down there, and basically this gets Rand ticked off, it gets anyone in the police ward ticked off. And on the sideline, just to fill in the blanks, basically both Sandy and Daryl basically wind up killing time using a recorder of some kind that she used to use while in church. But then that breaks, and then Sandy basically decides to put on a vinyl of Aerosmith with Dream On, which is where we get the title of this week's episode. Outside of the title reference and what they use for the song at the end of this episode, and I gotta be honest, I don't listen to a lot of Aerosmith, but I do like Dream On. That is probably one of their greatest tracks out there. I know there's more out there, I just need to listen to them more. But what happens in the end? Well, the song Dream On plays in the episode, and some of the parts are synced up to the scenes. Well, basically, Bunchy keeps getting, they continue on with Terry, the Bunchy's fight in the Fight Club. Winds up coming across a big guy that basically is a strong guy, and basically constantly starts knocking out Bunchy, tries to get him down, but each time he gets getting squared in the face or the nose or whatever, he still stands up, bleeding from the mouth, almost like he's not fazed by it. But it's also when Ray's returning home to Staten Island to visit his friend Mac, which, while he waits, he winds up hallucinating himself being pulled into a hospital, because right there was a car crash, and of course, as we know, Ray is not in the perfect condition to be out in the world. And in the end, they basically, Terry, Mickey, and Bunchy leave the underground club and relax for a bit in Terry's apartment. And once Ray gets home to Mac's home, basically that twist in the end where Randall found out that he recorded the conversation with the mayor, Yeah, Ray's screwed. Because Mac just looks at him and he's like, I trusted you, Ray. You were like my brother. I trusted you. And then suddenly we see Randall pop out of nowhere, send Ray down, and the next thing you know, another knockout. Yeah. There seems to be a lot of knocking outs in this show, isn't there? But this is probably like, I don't know, the second time that we've actually seen our character get knocked out. And especially at the very end of the episode, just before the credits roll. Because keep in mind, a while back, with episode 7, the 132, Ray gets knocked out by one of Samantha's people. Now this time, it's Ray getting knocked out by Randall and, well, technically not Mac, but it's mainly Randall that's the one responsible for knocking Ray out. And from there, it's going to be one hell of a ride, because that's where the episode ends. Dream on. I think with this whole ordeal, there's just no break for Ray. There's no way he can get out of this. No matter what he does, always one situation always keeps getting screwed up for another person. It's insane what Ray goes through. It's just, Ray just can't seem to figure out how to get himself out of these things. I mean, they were lucky season 4, but season 5 this time? Last season? Nah. Bad luck for him. And sadly, this bad mojo is sticking with him. Dream on. Honestly, this episode felt really short, unlike the other ones. Because, I've shown you the notes for this stuff before, and the majority of them have been really, 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 really long in notes. But this one, there's pretty much like 8 to 10 scenes that I've written down that I wanted to discuss in this. Could be because it was a really shorter episode or something, and that there's going to be new seasons of other shows that are going to pop up sometime down the line, but this is the first time that we ever got a situation like this. If ever. I don't remember a lot of this stuff, but I hope at least with the final, I'll say 3 since we're on episode 9 of the show, or at least this season. I just hope with the final 3 episodes, it gets good, it gets strong, it hits hard, and we get some good way to end this season of Ray Donovan. Because obviously the election race of mayors is just one big hell of a cluster that is just never, ever ending. Just he can't catch a break. But that's basically about it for Dream On. A good episode for the story arc, and it shows off just how Ray's at his weakest, and even the portion with only Bridget and Lena knowing about what happened. I mean, you can even say Officer Mac knows. Basically, from all of this, the whole ordeal is only going to get worse from here, unless Ray and crew try to figure out how to do this properly, what they're going to do next. I hope next week will be good. I hope for no issues with Mr. Donovan. And at least he can find a way. Because it looks like in next week's episode there's going to be some trouble with it. That bridge is in trouble, and Ray has to figure out how to save her. But we'll get to that next week. Anywho, what did you think of this week's episode, Dream On? Whatever your thoughts are, leave them in the comments, let me know. Happy holidays to all. I will see you next week. And for this Ray Donovan episode, I will say that it's worthy of the 4 to 5 star rating, though it feels very short. But anywho, happy holidays, and I'll see you next week. So, ta-ra!